You might be asking, so how serious is this thing with the father, with Father Scott and all that stuff? It is. I yet have to figure out at whose house that was, but there was a house that had a view um, that just reminded, like, distance-wise, it would be about the distance size of the house distance from here, something like that. Something like that, more or less in Ljubljana. It must be in Ljubljana. I don't know at whose politician, minister or even maybe minister I was at when they built a house, and the house was with the red like this right out. I had these people here on this terrace here saying to me, you're only going to have a one opportunity, it's going to be etc., etc. And they were trying to remind me of the house that I would see through the balcony from the room. I would see out from whatever house I was in. Talking about Natasha Pirc-Musar, talking about what this Minister of Interior, Boštjan, whatever he is. They prompted me that I have to video record all this stuff and so on. No, but this is about something else. This is just a little bit about what I see they're doing. They're following up with the stuff they promised me they would. This is in respect to getting my father killed through what I suggested you is yearly insurance and registration costs for the car that sits inside of the garage, because my mother would just not allow for me to replace oil and oil filter. And obviously that mechanic whom father was using for, I don't know, 20 plus 25 years, obviously that he is not disposable, obviously that he is not interested in doing that stuff. That's a Mitya from Ratish. ŽUNIČ is his name, on the other side of Krka River. And all the people here, all the way to Kos Gostilna, the people here on the other side of the neighbors, on the other side of the Krka River, have witnessed to my neighbors' village and police transporting mother, Nurse JANKO, people from Home for Elderly, witnessed and participated in transporting my mom across the Krka River beginning 2000 to the store which is located on the other side of the Krka River. It's called MERCATOR. Too many eyewitnesses to count. It was so bad that they stopped this. I think they stopped it in 2008 or something like that, because it became notorious, this shit. Play with a boat, going to the store, MERCATOR, on the other side, across the river to the other side of the Krka River to get the food because of coming hospitalization of my father. No wonder my father went completely insane. He literally had nothing to live for. How do you go about the stuff like this when you know that you're going to be dumped on a bed, on a dead bed? And he was, and I don't know how many times they had him inside of the home for elderly, and also inside of the hospital playing with him. I thought this was a very important issue to clarify in respect to police play with Metod Jerman, neighbor. Nobody was more involved than he was involved. With my father's life, literally. There's absolutely no doubt about the stuff that I stated to you that they forced my father to go through. Novo Mesto police, look, Krka Pharmaceutical, they saw and participated in this. Everything. My father had nothing to look forward to in life. His only way out was to get rid of me. And offering him and using this issue, they went on to destroy him with what they believed would be also my help. They believed that I would give them assistance in it. So this is the way this stuff is. This neighbors here, this is maybe the best to summarize this neighbors would be for me to put in my head that I will purchase all this land here, everything around, how wealthy I will be, etc., etc. While already inspecting, talking about these people here and others here from the street, Method Yerman told them once, not the people from the village, because Method would make sure that people from the village would be aware of it. Hey, entire fucking street was running to our property when they told them, I think it was, I don't know what year was it, maybe 2006, 2005, that our house is being repossessed and sold for cheap, for nothing. Oh, man. With farmer, look, working right there in the field, whatever. All these farmers claiming that I needed to be killed and family destroyed because they can't live normally anymore working on the fields, thinking about me, how I will go and purchase all these fields and put them in the jail. You know, that became the reason, excuse for more crime against me. This is how MK Ultra works. This is what this is. City of the Novo Mesto, our location here. Just the way you see it. Krka Pharmaceutical, all this. Our house right here. On the other side, a store. It says Jisk, Novo Mesto. Air distance, very, 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 very close. And if you go across the Krka River, this is 50 meters here. Maybe the store is just distance 50, 100, 150, let's say. Maybe 300, maybe 300, 400 meters. 500 meters, maybe the store is distant from here. With the boat across the Krka River, you're there and back. I mean, that's the way it goes. They had some bicycle recently for 150 euros. They advertised to me during MK Ultra. Police claimed me. Do not purchase the car. Do not purchase the car. It was weird, crazy, because they talk about you would be glad if you would have at least electric bike and so on. They started to play with electric bikes issues way back in time, before the bikes even became a reality. Even bicycle would be great and so on. And then they started to fuck with the father's car. Through mother will not change oil in one. And suggest me you will need the fish and this and that, and you cannot bring the fish from the store because it spoils itself. Yeah, this is the way this stuff is. In Poland, they have stolen me several bicycles. Remember? That was the police, Slovenian police in Poland, who also guaranteed me. And when you come to Slovenia, you still have a bicycle inside that you purchased. Even that bicycle is going to be stolen from you on a first opportunity. You're going to park in front of the store. So I told you about these murderers, killers, 24/7 assassins, Yugoslavs that are employed at this police station here. I did spoke to you about. This was the scum that guaranteed me that on the first opportunity I'm going to use a bicycle to go to pick myself a food at the store. The one who was extremely excited about the prospect of having my bicycle stolen as I would go to buy a food was a psychiatrist, Peter Kapsch. So I thought that this would be important issue for me to discuss also. It definitely pertains to my father. This is the issue I already have discussed about. Mother demanded through psychiatrist Peter Kapsch from Milan Kučan police for my father to be murdered as soon as possible after yearly car registration. Insurance is missing there. Passes first 6 months. That's why she paid well for that insurance. So at least a double she paid for the insurance so the car could sit inside of the garage. I was asking Mom, why are you paying so much for insurance? This is our house here. Right here it is. And that's a store right there, as you see, Yisk. That is also a food they sell. It's called MERCATOR. In fact, I think that it's not Mercator Center, it's another one. But this is the store that you would go to. They were using it, commuting themselves across the Krka River. Before 2000, this kind of crazy stuff started already. They started way before that. In 1990, they started to do this stuff. But with the idea to get my father killed. Sometimes even earlier, in 98. You don't get to see the police like this every day, do you? You don't get to see the stuff like this about the police being revealed. Playing out on a daylight for entire world to see. I guess they're used to it so much that they don't mind. I mean, you have to not mind. I mean, there is no fucking way that you would otherwise do that to yourself. Look at that. That's our house. This is the distance right here. Otherwise, the distance is considerably longer. And so entire village here that you see, and several people from home from elderly, they were fucking around with this together with the police officers, police investigators. This is just truly, truly, truly bizarre, insane, suicidal, with the only option that keeps these people afloat is corruption at Federal Bureau investigation, corruption from Ursula von der Leyen, who struck the deal with the Tanya Fayon inside of our house. Milan Kučan negotiated. There's nothing else I would say to this stuff. This stuff here is proven beyond any doubt. This stuff only is not stopped because of this issue here. That's the only issue that keeps this genocide going. London, basically, London. European Court for Human Rights Anti-Torture Commission literally is the one that keeps this shit well alive. This is a house from PETERLIN. A good friend of Americans, was a good friend of Americans, expressed enormous appetite to own this property. They came here after my father, we moved already here, purchased and so on. They started to build here so they would be my neighbors, because apparently the village was so evil that they just have to bring the people here. There's all Udba people here without one resident here. That was one, and that was Henčić. That was not interested in causing harm. As for the rest of it here, and he also was involved in it. He had an appetite to take this over, was already walking around here like an owner with his son, JERNEJ PETERLIN. So that was JANEZ PETERLIN. I told this man the only thing that's going to left out of you here, so that you will understand what really went on here. Because they do have stuff, whatever stuff they have. The only thing that's going to be left from you when it comes to this house is that tree right there, I told him, that breza. I don't know how you say that in English. Birch tree. There is a birch tree. That's an old birch tree they left. So it was my promise. It was my oath. It is what I will realize. Do not video record the neighbors under no circumstances. I'm a very respectful person, but this really crossed the line. And really, Janez is an older man than myself. I always respected, liked him very much with his son JERNEJ. But what this have turned into is something completely else. I'm so proud about myself telling an older guy like this that he's gonna pack and be out of here in the jail. To summarize this video, I did not do a good job. You will use the boat to commute yourself across the Krka River to the store. That was a promise of the neighbor police officer, Method Jerman. You will. The threats were fortified by the psychiatrist Peter Kapsch, who, in front of Eurospin store, would have with the police, with the neighbors here, with Andrei Uhl and others, PETERLIN, BERGER, demonstrate me how the bicycles were stolen. There would be only bicycles that would leave with forks, bike forks, you know, I don't know how you say that. Wheels taken off and stuff like this. They would repeatedly do that. Police would repeatedly demonstrate me this. Juršić, Štefanić, police. They would deliver me in front of the stores, in the stores and so on, demonstrate me how this is going to look like. You will use both. That's very important for me to summarize this video. ŽUNIČ on the other side of the Krka River, a neighbor, guaranteed me And these are the people who would absolutely make sure that they would video record about the stuff that went on here. This is how they interpreted me, this stuff. Insisted, well, I was already, our parcel was used as a parking lot for your boat already for so long. You passed through here already. I did. So police would guide me through there. So many times that I really want this to happen. Basically, cut from the car so that the boat would be used. So now you understand the circumstances behind the murder of my father. This isn't a single person. This isn't two people. This is an entire system. I'm not going to say it's rigged, but in agreement, literally, with the foreign politicians, with the foreign organizations, etc., etc. This is just to summarize this video, to make, the way I like that, to make sense out of it.